Hi, I'm Bella.
And I'm Austin, and we're doing a short presentation on science and alchemy during the Renaissance period. Science and alchemy during the Renaissance was very important as they gave people a different viewpoint of how and why the world worked the way it did, instead of just saying that God or some other heavenly being made it so. People in the Renaissance more commonly looked to God for an answer, rather than science, as science was a concept not always showed or accepted. But there were many good scientists during the Renaissance, like Paracelsus and Robert Boyle. They thought of science as the first priority rather than God. They spent nearly their whole life studying how the world worked and how they could make it better. They affected the Renaissance, and now in a big way that few people recognize. Here is what we know about how these people affected the Renaissance and today. Robert Boyle was a humanist. He looked at the world knowing how it worked naturally. He didn't think God made it all. He believed that it was created in some sort of event that happened. He does not have a theory on it, though. Paracelsus, on the other hand, was crazy. While he was a scientist, he also believed in magic, which was not very humanist. Although he followed a non-humanist approach, he was still relevant to the evolution of alchemy and science. They both followed the same principle of using their knowledge to further their technology and research. Robert Boyle was a scientist who experimented with various gases to see what the effect of compressing them did. During his experiments, he invented an air pump that could successfully pump air into tightly woven bags. He used a process with each of his experiments that was the same each time and explored all of the possibilities of an experiment and guaranteed a true result. People thought this was weird, as they did not use the method. Instead, they read books on the subject and accepted it as they read it. Today, this process is called the scientific method, and it was Robert Boyle who first started to bring it to life. He, along with a few other scientists, used the method to make important discoveries and advances in science during their time. Like Robert Boyle, Paracelsus also wrote books and brought alchemy to life. While writing his books, Paracelsus went on many journeys, learning about the spiritual ways of medicine. He believed that if the land was used for spiritual uses, God would heal the patient for the rest of their lives and would make their lives healthy and long. As a result, people thought he was crazy, but they accepted his way of thinking over Robert Boyle's and other scientists, as it was something they knew and understood. Things like this halted the progress made by scientists. In the end, both eventually contributed to both humanism and their studies, further helping the world around them evolve and create a new way of seeing the world as it really is. To conclude, humanism in the Renaissance was a very important thing, and without science back then, life could be 100 times more different. Bam.